Hey Banu, it's great to be here at the world's largest incubation center, so they say, T-Hub. And I would like to know how your journey has been through wherever the idea started, whether it's a school, college, a room, bedroom, wherever, to here at this office, this wonderful, wonderful place. So can you please enlighten me on that?
Yeah, thanks Mohit. Thanks for having me today. It's a great place to be here and T-Hub. So we have started, back in 2022, I would say, but it started with so many of our built-in experiences gathered one place to that gave us momentum to what we are actually building today, the MadScientist. So thanks for having me today. I'm Bhanu Kiran Mergoju, founder and CEO of MadScientist. So what we are trying to build is it's a network of people and information in technology only. So it's like we are gathering people and information from emerging technologies such as AI, space technology, and robotics, and AR, VR, or XR, and all these. So our journey has started long way back, while being in college. It's like you don't have anything, right? Like you just have ideas, bag full of books, and brain full of ideas you started with in college. So when we were in college, we were these college, they used to call us college nerds. We used to build a lot of these robotics, and from scrap. And we used to involve in building some or creating some projects for ISRO, NASA. And we even actually written a 90 pages report to NASA, and we submitted to them, and it was a contest, and we won second prize worldwide. And later on, it wasn't in the first year we thought of building satellites, and all this space technology was something that's our own thing. And in first year we thought of building satellites when ISRO launched 104 satellites in one go. And then later on, in second year, we went to Vikram Sarabhai Space Center in Kerala, and we actually gave them a presentation to 20 scientists. One of them is actually project director of Chandrayaan 1, one more is in project director of Mangalyaan 1. We actually told them that we have an idea that can actually go to Mars one day, and we presented them a Mars rover design and with a wingman called a small drone. And this happened in 2017, probably around December, I guess. And the idea was to build a rover and small prototype of it, and then give it to ISRO people, and they build an actual rover of taking this as the main base design and send it to Mangalyaan, or any other future missions. And then one of the project director of Mangalyaan 1 said that your idea is really interesting, what do you want to do, and if this is really good, if you guys can make it into a fully functional prototype, then we can actually take it to Mars one day. And as a student, you are just nowhere, tinkering around, your college academics, taking care of your attendance and all this. Now, one ISRO scientist told that your idea can go to Mars. Like, it's kind of, felt crazy for us. And, but eventually it requires a lot of capital, requires a lot of guidance, mentorship, and huge, it was huge shout out for us. ISRO people called our college and said, you guys, your college students are amazing, and they wanted to work together with college people. We brought literally the ISRO to college. And then in third year of our engineering, we actually went to this IUCA workshop. 40 students were selected across India to to join that workshop. It's an national workshop on astronomy applications, and I was one among them. And I was one among from Telangana only state. And we actually went to IUCA. It's called Inter University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics.
Okay.
And also there is this called Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, where we were given a lot of information, or a lot of exposure actually to these cutting edge astronomy applications that are happening. So if I have to elaborate more on that, there is a 2,500 crore project that is funded by government to, especially to IUCA, only to detect gravitational waves emitting from a black holes. So that kind of project they deal with. And we have got access to learn about those things in hand directly from those scientists from IUCA. And we were also got more exposure about Aditya L1 even before that, even in an idea stage that they're working on. And a lot of these things happen in college, and things doesn't always goes in the same way, right? Like always will not be in our favor. And in the final year of our engineering, we thought of building, we have to, this is our year, we have to do something. and we thought of building a satellite. And the satellite we wanted to build, that was to build a constellation of satellite to detect space debris or space junk around the low Earth orbit. So if you see low Earth orbit around the Earth, there are tons of space junk which is leftover parts of rocket, leftover parts of satellites, or dead satellites, and they just collide with live satellites, and they create ruckus around Earth orbit, right?
Yeah.
So we wanted to detect them, and with proper machine learning algorithms, and proper mounted large dynamic range camera, and make sure this data can be available to other satellite companies ground on Earth. So this was our idea, and we have to build a prototype. And all the projects that we did in our college, few of them were selected by people, few of them were able to fetch some attraction, and all this happened. But we had so many challenges. We had to fail, we had to be failed at a lot of these Mars rover project and all this, because lot of things has to come right, build such kind of space technology, and we were into emerging technologies, right? So that's where even the same thing happened with the satellite thing as well. So we had built the prototype, we had built small satellite which weighs around 156 grams, around like that. And we wanted to have proper payload of camera and machine learning algorithms, onboard computers, and all these. But that's where the real villain entered into our journey. That was 2020, and space policy was not favorable to everyone, and it was emerging technology. We had to face a lot of challenges, such as not having proper understanding about these emerging technologies, not able to access information in technology or scientific information, and also not having people ready on to join the platform, join this kind of or satellite project, right? Because who has the expertise of building such satellites other than ISRO? So not having proper technology teammates on the team, and also not having proper guidance, even awareness about what is happening in the technology. These were the basic technology things, technology beginner problems, I would say, problems we had initially. So we thought ki if somebody else the same student, anyone out there building or something in emerging tech and had faced the same problem, and we talked to them, they were also facing some similar problem, then we thought ki we had to enter into this space, and we had to solve this for Indian students who are into emerging technologies, wants to build something innovative but weren't able to get those expertise, or that huge connections. That is something that's how our journey has started, and that is how this the idea for the root idea for MadScientist has evolved.
All right, Banu, that's great to hear that. But I wonder, does your journey and the things you have achieved along the way, the people you have influenced, the environments you have been part of, did this leave in some way promote the idea of privatization in the ISRO sector? I'm not actually familiar with the current industry trends and the news and everything, but could you just enlighten me on what is happening in the current space industry, in the space sector of India, and what kind of initiatives ISRO is doing to promote the private sector?
Yeah. So, when we started, satellite thing, it was very initial stage, and, 2020 and space policy was just opening up for privatization. And, many private sector, people in private sector who have ideas in space technology are just coming together to, build these. And, when we were building that, we had one client from Dubai just asking for if you could manufacture a small satellite for us. And also we published paper, we even part of, ISRO competitions. But for us, I think we judged too quickly for ourselves. I think, we stopped working on it too early. We thought, this is not our thing. Maybe we have to quit this, and we have to move to something else. Then we quickly moved on to what MadScientist is today. But if you see, after we gave up on our idea, ISRO has came with lot of initiatives to support these early stage entrepreneurs. Whether you say recently InSpace, government has set up an InSpace organization, where
Yes, I've heard of it. Yes.
yeah, where these entrepreneurs can come to InSpace for any kind of support they want, whether it's mentorship, capital, or even getting approvals for your rocket launch, any satellite launch, anything, right? They're actually making sure all these can be accessed with the InSpace program.
Yes.
And also government has took, this space sector has a more serious problem. Like now, space industry is, going to reach $400 billion market by 2050 or 2030, I guess.
Okay.
And to have at least 7 to 10% of market share by that year, India has to have a lot of space company and lot of space technology has to be developed. So to have huge market share for India in that global market, government has taken several funding schemes. Recently Indian government of India in the budget, they have launched 1,000 crore fund especially for early stage space technology startups. And they're supporting these early stage startups who are doing very great, and they're pushing them on very global scale. Let's say few founders from all these top space companies were taken through Indian government to JPL, NASA, and all the SpaceX and all these established space companies in US. So they were given all exposure, tour and all to all these things for knowledge transfer, and all these sessions were happening with all these US and emerging countries like even UK as well. So these people were getting a lot of exposure, knowledge about how they have built so many technologies for Mars, Venus, even for Jupiter and all these, right? So this knowledge transfer, these fund creation, and this space policy, one of the thing, good thing is the policy was little flexible than it was in 2020 now. And that policy is actually shaping up these space startups very very effectively to actually build their companies. If you have a just idea now, you just come with an idea, you build a small prototype and go to the government, and they'll give you seed fund, they'll give you capital support, they'll give you further investor support, they'll give you exposure and a lot of other client support, everything now. So I think that's a great way of getting into these technology and building what actually India requires in this space technology. I think government of India has taken a very good initiatives in all these ways actually.
Yes, Banu. So since the last 2 years, a lot of government initiatives and a lot of money pumping into the private sector and the space sector from the government and from private private places we have been observing. So what has stopped you from pursuing this thing? What has stopped you from making rover ideas, working on that? I mean, things have changed in the last 2 years, right?
Yes.
So what are you up to? Like, what are your plans in this? Do you have any plans at all?
So we were always these space passionate kids right from the college. If we have to build something, we only want to build space technology. But when we thought when we entered into space technology industry, space tech industry, we did not thought that it is that much capital intensive. We thought somebody would support us, but when we started, we thought it's going to be too much capital intensive and it's too much hectic. The one reason would be I think we are not ready for that startup ecosystem or building that startup hustle culture. Maybe that is one of the reason we judged ourselves too quickly and we had to shut it down. And one more reason was just you are a graduate, college graduate, and in 2020 passed out, and now you have to build on these satellites. You need so much money. We have no idea where to get such money, because nobody have that even awareness to even fund the ideas in emerging technologies like space technology. Maybe we thought nobody will put the money into this, and we have to pivot to something else. And we thought software is the easiest to go make money. And again later on, if you have an idea or interest towards space tech or deep tech, you can always build something in future, right? So we thought of maybe enter into software and make some money, and maybe we can get this going in the future. But when we entered into this MadScientist also, we fell in love with this solution, solving this problem of solving this on a very global scale. Then maybe I would say we judged too quickly, but in the future we do have plans. I did not told this to anyone till now, but we have plans to enter into space tech, but it's something that we are not focusing right now.
Absolutely, Bhanu. As entrepreneurs, we always are thankful to all segments of life, everything we go through, whether failures or success or things we could always learn from. So it's all great to know. But I'm more interested to know, you graduated as a mechanical engineer.
Yes.
And then you got into, that makes sense. As a mechanical engineer, you built rovers, and then you eventually got into ISRO, the context, the environment and everything. But what I'm fascinated about is how did you get on the tech side of entrepreneurship? And since MadScientist is a technology-based platform, what you're building, it's all about tech, it's all about coding and all that. So I want to know your journey. Like, how did you get from mechanical into coding, and what actually is MadScientist, and what is the core problem they're trying to address?
Yeah. So, for any problem that you need to solve, you need to have, proper team or at least a co-founding team. So luckily I have my friends on board who are also, from my college and, part of my previous colleges. So, we just came together, thought, let's do this, if this is a problem that we have to solve, if it is taking long, then, let's put some time and efforts, let's build this on, very good way. But the first challenge was, we are completely into hardware previously. Now we have to pivot ourselves, not even the idea, we have to pivot ourselves into, software first. So my one of the co-founder is CTO. He's a computer science, graduate. So for him, it's little easier. But for us to build product from ground on, it's little bit tricky. So we had to go through, how products can be built, software products can be built, and how you can, design such systems, how you can build such scalable systems, how this software ecosystem is going on. And it took us ton of time for us to learn, at least 6 to 8 months of time for us to get on board with or familiar with these kind of software technology. But still I don't code, but I have my people co-founders who actually code, so that gave us a little added advantage to build our things. But from very beginning onwards we have this innate curiosity for technology. So it's just like you start with something and it gets so much you get so much involved into it, and in that process you learn, obviously, right? So we started with basic full stack development, how this will happen, how back end technologies, front end technologies, and how this marketing works, and how you can design using Figma or Photoshop illustration and all these. And we were excited into these learning new things and learning building these the fact that we are going to build something and we are preparing for that particular war that we used to think of. I think it really got fascinated for us. And that's how we learned, and then we entirely pivoted ourselves into development side, professional software development side. And slowly we made mistakes, we learned from those mistakes, and we changed everything, and then we built our first prototype. It took us almost 1 year to build prototype, I would say. But later it took us only 4 months to just build our next MVP, next level, next version of our prototype. And that's something we have pivoted from that side to this side. But coming to the MadScientist, right? So the core problem that we are trying to solve is make sure people have idea or awareness about technologies, and make them more productive with the information and access they have. So as in college we did not have access to all these things. So if we had access to these kind of problems, these kind of resources, we could have done much better. So whoever is into technology, building something very innovative, and if they have access to these kind of access resources to information, capital, and people, or anything that they want to work on, right? If they have access to these kind of things, I think the probability of building new technology will actually radically improve faster.
Banu, that all sounds great. But as a normal person who goes to college, or just a person who has a normal life, just fascinated about information here and there, why should I care what you're building? What is it at core that you're trying to solve?
So there is this thing, technology is actually advancing very fastly than ever before. So we are in a very dawn of a new technological evolution. So previously in 1992, 1999, or 2004 or 2005 times, that was internet times, and internet is just emerging.
The .com era.
Yeah, .com era, and internet is just coming up for everyone. And the foundational technology is actually being built. Just like you see, internet was came for everyone, and now the foundational layer was built, and upon that you see a lot of these traditional systems were getting digitalized, and new social networks were coming in, and a lot of people are actually taking the use of technology like internet.
Yes.
And learning a lot of new things and accessing new people, new information, everything, right? So one technology has enabled a lot of new other things. and that is a time where when internet got more accessible for everyone, computers got more push for everyone, right?
Yes.
Now people actually started buying computers, that gave us new level of other revolution. So I think now we are in a very new age, technological revolution. We are very early in that, very early of dawn of sorry very early cut this and take we are in the dawn of that technological revolution. And now we have to be in touch with every technological thing that is happening, either somehow, at least once in a week you have to know, at least for your career sake, at least for your professional development side, in anything for your career to grow, you have to be in touch with these technologies. Because any businesses that you take, any job that you do, anything that you do these days is entirely technology based, right?
Yes.
So we felt technology has to be brought to lot number of people, so that they can enable a lot of other things and do much more things. And on another note, if I have to say, technology information or scientific information is actually doubling every 6 months, which means there is always new innovation happening for every day in technology or science. So if you don't know anything about these technologies, how can you even be forefront in that technology, or even in the research that you want to take up or anything, right? So for either you're a student, professional person, even if you're any normal enthusiastic about technology, to know about something that is really happening in technology, MadScientist is the place to go. And we actually believe this is not just for your career sake itself, but in the long term that you see in the coming few years, technology is going to be very pivotal in everyone's lives, and that is where we want to be that center of that.
But Banu, I'm used to consuming information from Google News, YouTube,
Yes.
Google search, newspapers, TV headlines.
Yes.
So what is it MadScientist is offering me truly different that I should, install the app, open that app every day, spend 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 1 hour? Why?
So one thing is, it's the people, the exciting people who are doing new innovations every day and come to the platform and discuss about their technologies or their new innovations. So
And how is it different from LinkedIn?
So LinkedIn is a professional space, man. Like what do you expect? Even a yoga guru is also a professional these days, right?
Yes.
He comes onto the platform and says something like this meditate for your for your life, for your tech life and all this.
Okay.
How does that help you in your technology life, in your technology career, right? So there is a lot of information, I would say. I wouldn't say there is not information available. There is a lot of information available everywhere that you go, but streamlining that information and building it as in proper centralized to you at one particular place is only thing we are actually more focused on. It's like at one place you can find the technology information. You don't have to be at multiple places, whether it's Google, Telegram groups, WhatsApp groups, social information, other social media platforms. These information is entirely scattered over different places and fragmented, right?
But Banu, my question is, what is information in this context? Is information just a bunch of text, like what is happening in the news? Or is it also about, research papers, in-depth statistics, the codes? If someone is building a new machine learning model that can make phone calls for you, is it about the code? Is it about the prototype? Is it about the previous versions? Is it that? Or is it something else we're talking about?
Yeah, interesting question. Anything that is in science or technology in any format is obviously called as information, right? So now we access different kinds of information. One would be about articles, online articles, and another side it will be research papers. On another side it can be even the coding data sets or even machine learning algorithms. Anything that you want to consume online, it's mostly the information. But when I said like the information about for MadScientist, we are specifically talking about the scientific or technical information. So whether the information is in article based, text based, or even image, video, even the information can be in images, even information is in videos, information is in the PDF format, can be research, it can be anything. So anything that you want to access in the these kind of videos, audio, 3D as well, like if you want to access any of these things, that is something we are putting it as an information. And if you want to access them, we are making sure MadScientist is the right place. So the traditional way of accessing this information was several social media platforms, several technology magazines. We used to have these technology magazines. So we used to have these technology magazines, research papers, and all these, right? So even I'm a technology person these days, and even I don't read a technology magazine, right, to keep up with such technology information. But if you see online, there are millions of people who are just coming up for these kind of information. Everything that is happening, millions of people are coming for this technology information. Then we thought ki maybe this is something interesting. Maybe if you streamline or make or change the way the people access that information in a very good way, I think, or make them visualize these information in a very streamlined or centralized way, I think we felt that would be much ideal for everyone in technology. And that is where we also differentiate ourselves from LinkedIn just focuses on information sharing about entire business, finance, everything, startups, technology, and all these. But we are only focused on technology. One thing is LinkedIn allows images, audio, video, and document only. But we are also focused on bringing up that 3D based information as well. It's like you can put up 3D files, anything on the platform, and it will
Very interesting.
and you can visualize technology the way it should be, right? Not just limited to this. Even we are planning for you are a tech person, right? You are a developer, so you can share one of your code. Let's say you have worked on one particular model or algorithm. You can directly share onto the platform, and it will visualize it in a code viewer, and you can share about your particular project or any innovation that you're working on, and that will be recommended to somebody else proper visualizing it. You don't have to see the code in a images or videos format. The way you have to visualize the code viewer format, we are actually putting those kind of formats as well. Not just this, even PCBs, how you can visualize PCB viewer, how you can visualize these AutoCAD files, how you can visualize these the information is going to be in a very different way in the future. So how you can access them in a very different formats is something that we are trying to differentiate ourselves. Accessing and visualizing the information is something that we are very much focused on, which differentiates ourselves from the LinkedIn as well.
All right, very interesting. But as a scientist, as a researcher, someone who's building something or researching something, and to publish my information, there are these platforms, ResearchGate, academia.edu, and all that. So, what is it, the one perk or one advantage I have coming to your platform? As a person who seeks information, seeks more research for my research, and also as a person who wants to publish information to other people for more feedback and for potential future experiments. Can you just answer on that?
Yeah. So when I said this information, there are two types in this. Once again, one is research paper publication systems at that side, academic paper publication, or all this side, and another side would be about what generally people share and consume, right? Like on a very regular basis, normal podcasts, videos, and reels, or even normal articles, just 1,000 character articles and all these, right? Like these are one side. So people just come to social platforms and spend some time to consume such kind of information. So currently MadScientist is only focusing on this consuming focused content. We are not entirely focusing on research publication systems or all these. So anyway that is our far future, how people can actually publish their papers, how if research publication industry is a 300-year-old industry, and it is being the same way since 300 years, and it has to be changed, right?
Yes.
How you build your how you actually publish your paper, and how you reach to a large number of scientists or researchers. That is something we are very much fascinated about, but we want to solve that in the future terms. But meanwhile how people access information online, general consumption, technology information consumption, that is we wanted to enable with MadScientist as of now. But in coming to the incentivizing them, right, let's say you are developer, you built a profile on the MadScientist, and you build your portfolio, like I'm working on this particular project since these many days, like building in public. You start building on your platform, and you made around 15 to 20 projections on the platform. We call projections, not posts. So you create 15 to 20 projections, and now some potential employer has seen your portfolio as a very fascinating one, and then then he comes to pick you up for any internship job, or any collaboration for your project. Collaboration, more technology based collaborations can happen in this way. So that is some very much advantage that you can get as a developer. For even we are building a recommendation engine. What happens is you don't have as if you have a skill, you should not be bothered about getting a job. The employers has to come to you to pick you up. So you focus on building your project, focus on building your portfolio, because how you express yourself in a professionally is what actually gives you the opportunities and in your career development. So it's not like you go to the employer comes to you to pick you up for the relevant internship and job. That is something we are also trying to incentivize the people. It's like more collaborations will happen, more conversations will happen. People get some ideas about what these guys are doing. Let's say some engineer from Meta is actually working on some exclusive XR research work, and now that XR research is exclusively being discussed on the MadScientist platform, and you have no idea about what is really that particular space. And now but anyway, you are interested and you want to learn, and you get into so much got attracted to that particular XR, and now you want to learn more things. Right now you get in touch with that particular person and you talk to him. You get either mentorship, or you get more some idea about how you can move in this industry. So those kind of enabling discussions, those kind of building a platform for who doesn't have a platform, right, the information accessibility and all this will be enabled with the platform. So but initially we are only focused on tech discussions and information sharing, but in the long term we are seeing this as a major platform for lot of collaborations, lot of technology development driver, maybe perhaps we're looking at that way actually.
All right. So you mentioned, it's a networking platform in such a way. So can you tell me about the effects of networking? Like how is networking beneficial to professionals, including developers, including scientists, including researchers? And how do they benefit with the use of, with the benefit with your platform? What is it they're searching in terms of networking from on generic platforms like LinkedIn, Reddit, Geeks for Geeks, ResearchGate, Discord? They don't find something they're looking for. What is it you're providing to them that you should, incentivize them to come onto your platform?
Yeah, first thing would be around tech people are not easily found anywhere. They actually people day by day we are actually becoming platform centric. We are consuming a lot of things, so we are very picky over what we actually want to choose and what we want to use. So let's say I'm a tech person. My I'm surrounded with few platforms that I'm really only interested in. Let's say I use for some time I use Instagram for some time for entertainment purpose. I use LinkedIn for some time just for maybe networking with few other people in business, or few other people with the students, or maybe people in tech. And also I use Reddit for constant relevant updates, right? Like we are becoming so much platform centric, and when this becomes so much time consuming and time draining for us, I think we will pick over right platform for taking your right decisions, or taking right place to be in finding out the right networks, I feel. And on a platform like us, it's like no drama involved. You come to the platform, you find a right tech person who are very much in technology. It's like if you have to find out a person in very much into neural networks and core neural network researcher working in so and so university, it's really hard for you to find him, or find him very much active on any other platform like LinkedIn, because these people in technology, they don't use much LinkedIn much, because it's irrelevant to them, because it consumes a lot of time of theirs. So as I said, they actually utilizing in the platforms that they want. So when it relevant, when MadScientist will be relevant to them, when it is actually relevant to them actually, and they come to this platform, the probability of you talking to them is very high on our platform rather than any other platform. So they might be, so you have Instagram profile, you have LinkedIn profile, you have Facebook profile, and you have Reddit
It's
profile.
like trying to find a date on Bumble instead of Instagram.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
cool, cool.
it's kind of the direct audience, right? Like you find the right direct person. You don't have to be in search for multiple places.
So, Bhanu, it's great to know all of that. But my intriguing question is that what was the specific problem you had with your first venture or whatever it was that you were going through in college and you were building that led you to this movement, that leads to this situation where the spark, the basic concept, the root of mad scientist started. So please tell me, enlighten me on that.
So we got out of the college 2020, and we started tinkering around satellites and all that happened. It was great, everything was going great. And then I mentioned, right, like we have few limited resources and all this, and we had to shut down our previous venture. Like it was very hard on us, and it's what, like you become very problem centric, right? Like you fell in love with the problem that you're solving. That too, it's a space technology, and it was so much hard for us to move on from that. But down the line we understood and we realized few points, like since the college we always had this problem of not reaching out to the right people, or not having right people on the team, not having right information for us. Like there is ton of things happening in technology, okay, now easy to say, but where is it happening? Where it, like even if you go on to any other platform, it's still fine, like you can find. But we wanted to have that a platform for us, like if people like us who are gathered around us, or even people out there in the world, even just in India, we thought we need to have a proper platform for
Yes.
us. We just want to have a platform for us, like first for us, and then maybe we can solve it for others. And then we had to shut down our previous company, and we have to change ourselves to something else. Then we were figuring out what to do. Like there was parental pressure, like it was huge pressure from parents also, like you have to shut it down, or you have to do something job, or you have, startup is something very new to them, right? And it's a capital intensive project. You don't get money on the first day itself. And people, everyone started telling us that you have to get a job, or you have to go for higher abroad studies or something, all this. We thought of going for abroad studies and everything, but something came to us again. Technology is advancing very good, and we have to do something now. That time in 2021, at the end of 2021 and early days of 2022, and we have to do something, right? We have to do approach new ideas, or maybe let's start a company. It's like I applied for in a company, a space company, but I wasn't able to get in.
Okay.
Then I was that this constant thing that I want to do something now. I just got rejected and I have to do something now. Then I got rejected from that company also. Now I instantly called my friends, my college mates, and told them that let's start a company, I have this idea. But they were like, what is the idea, what do you want to do? But at the end, whatever the problems that we personally faced during the college, during our previous startup, like we did not have any access to people in technology, we did not have any access to these particular information, we don't have any guidance, we have no idea, like what the heck is going on in technological world. So we thought, like maybe this is something we are really interested in. But whenever there is something related to science fiction or science or technology, we were always fascinated, and we were always used to go to that particular place. It's like, what if you have that kind of science museum at the palm of your hands? What if you have such kind of you can explore all science things at one place, right? I used to watch these documentaries, science fiction movies and all these. I was so obsessed with that. What if we have everything, all those kind of, at least if I could consume 1 hour of those kind of content, like in line, for me it's like a heaven thing for me, kind of that. How it started, how it germinated, what we wanted to solve, that was the problems that we particularly closely faced. We don't want everyone else to face the same problem. So that is how we wanted to build a platform that we wanted, and so that everyone can also get benefited from that. So that's how it all started. We started Mad Scientist with normal blogging site. we just created blogging site with
Wow.
this Wix or WordPress, I guess, like with
Okay.
WordPress. I created a small WordPress blogging site, and we were writing different kinds of content, tech content, whatever is happening. But in that time, a lot of tech content is not readily available. At the same time, information is not readily available, and technology is not that much advancing also that time. And second thing is it was not a great idea. If you want to read technology articles the same way that they are right now, I don't think you will be differentiated from others, right? And the second, on the moment we realized blogging is not the way to go, we quickly pivoted to a magazine company. So now the idea was to sell technology science magazine. Nobody was focusing on space technology, so we thought we'll focus on A to Z of space technology: astronomy, astrophysics, orbital mechanics, and everything related to space technology, because we are good at that. So we thought of maybe we'll do the magazines and everything. And we almost created a magazine by talking to my friends, all the connections that I have. I brought all these people together. Each and everyone has written one article, and we thought to put these articles into one magazines and publish it and sell it in our only college first for 30 rupees. And something was really not right. We were startup is always solving the problem at highest magnitude, right? You have to always experiment yourself so that you solve the problem in a right way. And we did not feel magazine is the right way, because all the digitalization happened, people are in digital places, people are not consuming magazines anymore. I've been seeing reading the graphs of tech magazines company. The sales were just going down, the curve was just going down. And we felt magazines are not the way of accessing information. So when you see this as the something that you want to solve, this is not the right way of solving it, then you have to approach for the new way of solving that particular problem, right? So you always have to be not problem centric, but you have to be a solution centric. You have to solve a better solution, you have to give the better solution. That's when we understood, what if we give that experience in a very mutual way, like where people can come and discuss, right? So what if we could enable these discussion in a very good social experience way. People are very much familiar with social networks and all these, right? And social networks are something that is a kind of language that we understand, and very easily. And if I tell you to read one magazine for 10 papers, would you read that 10 text pages?
No. Too
You
much.
wouldn't read, right? So that's when we understood it has to be more visualizing, and at the same time it has to be much more intriguing for everyone. At the same time it has to be more socially experienced for everyone. So that's when we thought of it has to be social experience. We need to have to build something like professional network, or a technology network. That's how the evolution of MadScientist has how it germinated, and also the evolution of MadScientist has changed. Now we build that platform. Now that platform we only built for Indian students and Indian techies, but eventually now we are almost in 20 plus countries, and it's
Wow.
eventually growing across the world. So what started as a very basic thing for our India only in the country, now it's growing across the world. I think we are understanding many more patterns now. Now we thought we can understand better our idea, our problem, and we can solve this in a very different way in the coming days. That is something we have. That's how it started, and that's how it's actually going right now.
That's a fascinating start, absolutely. And what I would like to know is, like, what is the 5-year vision of the company now? Since you've launched your platform, you said you launched for the Indian audience, the Indian problems and things like that. But now it's in 20 plus more countries. Did you expect this? And since now your reach is global, and meaning you have more people, more categories, and more problems and more things to work on. So how has your plan changed? How was your team working? What are the ideas you have in your mind for the next 3 to 4 years?
This is very very interesting question. So we were in in this technological space, right? Technology information space, and it's a very niche idea, very niche space. Nobody is really trying to look at, because I don't know the awareness gap, or maybe the knowledge gap, but I really once again. So we understood a pattern that most of the technology content creators are not very much available in India. and not just in India, it's across the world problem. But there are more consumers than creators in technology space especially. So if you expect to build such kind of platform and create get the information coming in or the content coming in, it doesn't happen in a 1 or 2 days. So it will take so much time, it will take so much efforts. Then we understood, I'm a techie guy, like I am very much interested in technology, but still I don't create content. I don't come onto the platform like this and create the content, right? So most of the content that is created, either it is from tech magazines or either that is coming from any huge journalists, tech journalists, who are actually writing online content, or even research papers, and other way of the tech companies. They are actually creating technology, and at the same time they are actually creating research information, and also they are creating the content in these ways. So this is a pattern we understood. So now we have to change our course, how we have to be in the next coming days. And now everyone is almost in AI company, right? We thought ki maybe tech content creation is a problem initially, and we have to have somebody who actually create content.
Do you think AI is going to create content for you?
That is something that we are actually aiming at now. So we are building a real time information synthesis, a tool which can actually give you real time information for every 1 hour whatever is happening in entire world in technology space. So that is something we are building an AI models where it will give you the AI information, but obviously they are fact checked information, authentic information, source checked, and at the same time they are filtered and personalized to yourself and based on your interests.
It's like an AI author.
Yeah, kind of, maybe. So actually we are building that. We are currently in the process of building that. Pretty soon you can expect that. But in the future, in the 5 years from now, we are actually trying to build a huge network of people in technology and information also, and how people actually exchange information and get opportunities more. And we are actually trying to operate this company from maybe US. And we did not
Why is that? You mean you want to shift to US?
Indian headquarters will be there in Hyderabad, will be there in Bangalore for sure, but we also wanted to reach out to US because we did not anticipate this to be a global company. Even we really have no idea that we have to go global. We just started building what we have, basic idea, and people were accepting us that okay, maybe it is required. And now when we started out building for Indian audience, Indian consumers, then we are getting traction from China, Russia, US, and UK, France, and even Australia and all other countries. And we were like gone crazy that why we are actually getting user base from these places. Then we understood technology is universal, right? Even you're on Mars, the technology information is same.
Yes.
So we thought maybe information is actually universal centric, and people actually relate to everything, whether you are innovating from India, whether you are innovating from Norway, whether you are innovating from US, doesn't matter. Information, everything that you do build is same. So then we thought maybe we should go global, and we talked to our mentors at T-Hub. They have suggested us the same, you should go global. This is the right way of building your company for sure. And that's when we decided we have to go global. And if you see San Francisco and all these US places, right? US is the second largest user base for our platform.
Okay.
And we are after India, and we are getting huge user base from those places, well, from Washington, San Francisco, and New York. And we thought maybe you should be in the right place there, where technology is actually developing from the foundational base. Be there, talk to the people, bring these on board, and maybe building from there on a global scale is actually made sensible for us. And that is actually also might be the right direction which we thought and decided based on several understanding of our previous interaction with our users. So yeah, that is when we decided to go global and build this on a global scale.
All right, that's great. That's great to hear. So with the changing ecosystems currently, AI is getting into everything. Corporates, MNCs, startups, government, everyone are funding AI initiatives. Everyone want AI into their things forcefully, whether it's useful or not, it's secondary. Forcefully, everyone's trying to indulge the AI solutions into their tech. So what has mad scientist has in their backyard? What are you working on with AI? Like how is AI being used to your solutions? Like can you just brief me on that?
Yeah, sure. I was actually expecting this question.
Okay.
So we are actually tinkering around AI for a while. We recently started our Mad Scientist AI division as well. So where we even took an MOU with one of the Triple IT here, Triple IT Basser they call
Okay.
it, and for AI research. So the particularly like in science we are actually trying to work on things around information. So there is this tool called that is we are working on real time information synthesis, we call it as.
Okay.
So it actually based on some authentic sources that we personally define, it will give you information which is very much relevant to you, very much personalized to you based on your interests. So if you are a Mad Scientist user, whether you are interested in AI or anything, so you get personalized AI latest information updates that are happening in entire technology
Is it
world.
just AI trends, or can I just know about other trends if I'm
Other
into?
trends as well, like
Okay.
we are not just focused for AI. Like even if you are into space tech, if you are into focused on robotics, if you are focused into AR VR, anything that is really happening around the world, without any prompt, just you be on the Mergoju platform, you'll get everything. For every 1 hour you'll get a lot of updates. The reason that we chosen, because there are new things happening every 1 hour in entire technology world. As a human, if you have to put it that way, it is really hard. So then we thought of maybe integration of AI here can actually bring real time information for every 1 hour for every user. And that is something we are actually putting that into integrating that to MadScientist platform. And in the far future, the pipeline, we have this idea of building intelligence for the platform. When I mentioned that companies has to come to you to hire you, you should not be going to the companies. So how does this happen, right? It's like the recommendation,
Okay.
a proper personalized recommendation. Company gets recommended with a lot of tons of quality candidates, they'll directly hire, right? So kind of intelligence that we are planning to build on in the coming days. But there is something future vision that we have, even in the AI itself, right? We are kind of building LLM for science. It's like in a huge language model that you can build on. You can build for reasoning, or you are just a small assistant, personalized intelligence for yourself. So it will help you in reasoning your research work. It can be in your understanding your research work much better, understand your problem statement much better, and give you real time insights to you, so that you can improve many more things on your particular work that you're doing. Let's say I'm into drug discovery, I'm building a drug discovery model. So if I have to build this drug discovery model, I need so many data sets, I need so many things, right? Now you just give your prompts in such a way that these are your parameters, or these are your design specifications of these entire model. You give those specifications to this, you give your already existing idea to that model, and it will give you better output of what you can do, what are the possibilities, what are the future scope, how you can utilize it, or use it effectively well to bring that perfect drug discovery formula. So it's like you give some very basic input, and it will give you the broader insights into that particular sector. So we want to train this on very very large level. It's like training on very huge data that we have right now in the only specific to science or technology. The main intention of this is to propel scientific advancements, or propel scientific growth, or any technology based innovations. So on that particular level, it can actually help a lot of companies, large level, small level enterprises, even innovators, even researchers, scientists at anyone working in companies, or even individual, or innovators that are working on. So for them, this is going to be a very huge big tool. And yeah, we are hoping to do it when even before somebody else does it. So that is something we have very good things pipeline for us. But we wanted to build a very good reasoning intelligence for things around information and science, that will actually help people access information, and at the same time make it accessible for everyone around the world. So that is how we are looking at with MadScientist AI in the far future.
All right. So that's what the big CEOs have been recently talking about in their interviews in the podcast and everything. You have Mark Zuckerberg and other CEOs saying that we will have personalized AI agents for everyone. So I imagine MadScientist is going to be delivering that in some sense, right? Basically, the researchers and the developers have AI tools for themselves. The developers are getting something like Chat AutoGPT said, looking for tools and looking for other developers working on similar codes and looking for collaborations, and similarly for researchers and scientists who are working on experiments. Some of the scientists around the globe, maybe in North Korea or some other part of the world, looking to collaborate on the experiments and share data statistics. So that's very interesting. And it can just induce a line of innovation into every form of working. So that's a very great. It has a great market out there. It has great potential out there to change.
And
the
actually, to add more to to these things, we see intelligence as in very much driver for what existing systems are. So if you see any technology right now, there are companies who have dedicated their mission to replace the programmers and replace these entirely developers, right?
Sole agenda.
So yeah, their sole agenda is to replace these programmers. So you don't have to code, but you need to have an understanding, but you don't have to code. So then what happens, right? Like that, what happens to developers and all this. So then you can think of people actually pivot themselves to solving bigger problems, whether it's getting into space exploration, getting into building something very quantum computing. What's the next big things, right? People get into building something very huge. So we wanted to be that drive growth driver for that particular technologies to be built. Or MadScientist AI, we want to be positioned in that level, so that these people use our tool as a main source or main tool to reason, research everything, and then build those next big technologies or solve the biggest problems of our planet. That is something we are also looking at with MadScientist AI.
It's great to hear all that, Banu. Okay, so can you tell, when did you decide to join T-Hub, and how has T-Hub changed your journey from what it was previously to now? And now that you have launched your app globally, what plans does T-Hub have for you? Like, what are the cohorts at T-Hub that you're part of, and how are they helping you? Can you just enlighten on that?
Yeah, I would say in this way, T-Hub was a best slap on our faces in a good way, actually. It's like we are product builders. We always know about how you build a product, and how you can build an actual proper engineering product.
Okay.
But you don't know the business aspects of it, right? And if you are building a product, it has to be monetizable. It has to be you have to have a revenue model. You have to have proper business strategies to how you can grow. You need to have GTM strategies. How do you get into market? How you can position yourself in the market?
What is go-to market? Like, what is GTM strategy?
So go-to market strategy is something how, like, once your product is built, how you actually can get into the market. What will be your strategy? How do you market your product, whether it's social media marketing, or do you go to universities and tell about your product, or do you put some posters or any advertising on any other TV channels, or any other paper ads or anything? How do you reach your customers effectively, your target audience?
So what was your go-to market strategy?
So our go-to market strategy initially was to just to reach out to the tech audience who are interested in technology, who can actually be our first target audience, right? So we actually reached out to universities and told them that this is something platform that helps you. That way we reached out to a lot of universities. I have spoken in almost 10 to 12 colleges till now, and we still keep on doing that. So that was one of our major GTM. But now we are just doing another social media marketing. We're starting to do that social media marketing and other as well, other things as well. So yeah, when I talk about T-Hub, right, they have helped us with understand all these other business concepts. So understand how you can monetize your product, how you can build your GTM, how you can build your revenue models, and all these. And apart from these, we actually got incubated in T-Hub through a program called Rubrics.
Okay.
Rubrics is we are part of Rubrics cohort 3. Rubrics is a program which helps you build your MVP from your prototype stage. So we came to T-Hub with a prototype. which is very buggy, and which have no problem value addition, or with no value proposition, I would say, to the user. We came with a very basic prototype to the tier people, and
But did tier people understand when looking at your prototype that whatever you're trying to solve had a market fit?
It's not always about the product. They always say it's about the founders, what you want to build, and what your future vision is. And I think they have believed in what we wanted to build. At the same time, more than that, they believed in ourselves, like as a founders. So they believed in us, and they have actually selected us for the cohort, and they actually gave us with different insights on design thinking, how you can build your product, how you can market it, what are the insights involved in building your entire product development part. So product development is something that is very much important for any startup, right? Getting the things right at the MVP stage will actually make you, or will actually make you or get your customers on board directly, and it will expose you to a lot number of your target audience or customers. So a good product is actually very much important, and that's what T-Hub helped us in building the right product. And also they also gave us a lot of mentorship guidance in terms of going through for the product development part, even further business scaling part. And not just that, even they actually help us with investor connections also. So they gave us with investor connections. With T-Hub, you also get benefit from a lot of these online GitHub credits, Azure credits, Microsoft credits, like all these you get to access all these credits for free, I would say. And we had benefited a lot of resources from the T-Hub. Above all these, the community support is really, really strong. So the network that T-Hub has built, and that you can as a early stage startup rely on, is really important, and that they have built is really, really admiring. And recently I've been to Meghalaya, and I've been to Guwahati to talk about MadScientist. And wherever we go, we talk about T-Hub, and they were like so much excited, and they look at us with some kind of ray of hope for building startups.
Wow.
Right? The kind of the stage that T-Hub has set in for early stage startup like us around the India is actually truly what we actually required. And I think what you need more than this, right? Like wherever you go in India, you have the better support system to you actually to grow on. And that is something T-Hub has helped us with. And that's how we got incubated here. And ever since they are whenever we make any mistakes, they slap us in a very good way, like our mother or father, and tell you like this is the right way. So that's what happened with T-Hub, and that's how we grew eventually over the time.
All right. So I'm asking this question for myself and a lot of other people out there. What was life like at this point where you had to join an office while living in a city like Hyderabad? It's a money draining city, Hyderabad it is.
Yes.
And T-Hub, despite how resourceful it is, how the good community is, there's a hefty price for that. There's a price tag for that, right? And when you're at a stage of a life when the adulthood pressure hits in,
Yes.
your peers are doing a job at Microsoft, or they're doing masters, like how do you deal with all this pressure, like morally, financially, and for yourself? What answer do you give to your parents, and what do you answer to people? Like how was that part for you?
So took a lot of time for me to convince my parents. I later, when I convinced them, it felt like maybe convincing them first should be the first prior to what should have been. Sorry. I think convincing my parents was the hardest thing than convincing any investor out there. If you would able to, as an early stage founder, if you were able to convince your parents, lot of things will get easier for you. Like initially my parents were not that much aware of startups and all that, and they haven't really not encouraged, I would say, but they did not really push me towards this journey. So but I always wanted to get into this journey. So we did not have proper conversations. I just came up. I live in Warangal. It's little 180 kilometers away from here.
Okay.
So my father is a school principal, so we have to be there. And I came from Warangal to Hyderabad, and I start I said, for 1 year I did not even gone back to my home.
Wow,
I was
amazing. It's a
just
lot.
in Hyderabad, and I was just putting my entire efforts to build the startup. So that's complex. That's how complex it is. But if you say financially, morally, it is energy draining, I would say. The life, or even the the path of entrepreneurship is like that, and you have to be prepared for all of these things. And I think initially I was not prepared, but over the time, when I understood, okay, when I understood a lot of other people's stories, when I listened to other people's stories, recently I went to Usmania University here, and I met CEO of Adobe. Then I talked to him, asking different questions, a lot of people asking questions, and he was mentioning the path of entrepreneurship is this way actually. Whether it's existential crisis, of what the heck is actually you are doing. Even you, sometimes you are not even aware of whether you are solving a good problem or not. Even if you feel that you are solving a good problem, you're not sure whether this will make money. Even if it is making money, then you're not sure like whether this is sustainable or not, right? Like that's how the crisis that hits you every day, like every day morning. And the second thing would be the imposter syndrome. We always have this, like we always feel that we have to do so many things, but we just get back, and we thought we think that we did not do much better than we can, right? Always all these crises and all these things comes into your head every morning when you wake up. And then you have to think about all these things, and then reassure yourself that everything is going to be all right. But you have to keep on going. So even even whenever somebody asks me this question, even to myself itself, I tell this that whatever I'm doing, I'm really good at it, but I have to just keep on doing it to become much better at it. And I think it's my suggestion for everyone, like if you have to be very good at on something, you have to be consistent with it for a very longer time. And maybe something, the passion for building products, the passion for building something that can truly solve one problem out there. I think that is really exciting for us, excited us for on one side. At the same time, that is being balanced by the problems that are we are getting from other side. And yeah, it's going to be a tough journey, but we understood what is going to be like building product and startup. It's not that in just 1 or 2 years you have built this, and it became billion-dollar ventures, right? So anyone, do you see any example out there? They have invested more than 5 to 10 years of their time. It's an patience driven thing, right? So a lot of people have built a lot of good businesses over the time with so many years invested. So I think if that is the way we are happy to invest in our time and money and efforts, even if it gets failed, we're not going to regret it. We are just happy to accept that if this is a failure and this is a failure, and we'll move on to something else. So the life of an entrepreneur, or any entrepreneurship, the startup life will be like this for sure. And you have to be understand or know these dark sides as well. It's like even sometimes 24 hours is not enough for you. It's like you need 36 hours per day. It feels like that. Yeah, that's how it feels.
So one key thing I'm going to take as a advice and note it on my diary is that before I go talk to a potential investor out there, I'm supposed to convince my parent, I'm supposed to convince my all the members of my team who are working on the idea, their parents, and that is when I know, yeah, this thing is gonna work. There's a market
And
fit.
the good thing is now my parents are fully supporting my work entirely. Now
Wow.
they understood like what I'm trying to work, and we got incubated T Hub, right? Like, so now with everything happened, now they are supporting me in a very good way. That is something I was able to do all this because of them now. So if you would able to convince them initially, your journey would get much easier. But still sometimes I'd get these join UPSC, right, these group 1 exams and
Once
all
in a
this.
while,
Yeah, once
your
in a
father
while.
forwards you, gate exam is coming, CAT exam is coming.
Yeah, you're wasting your time sometimes. Whenever there is any depression point that comes in, he would share these kind of WhatsApp messages and all this happen. But then I'll reassure that this is something we are heading to. It will take some time, but it will give us some really good value in the future. So that is how I convince them. Now convincing investors is really easy for me, that really felt that way actually.
So Bhanu, it has been very inspiring to know about the story of MadScientist and the story of you coming all the way to here. And I hope it goes to great heights in the coming years. But before closing off, we have an audience of aspiring entrepreneurs and innovators watching this. What's the one piece of solid advice? What's the one piece of train thought you wanna leave them with that they're supposed to think about, work on for their venture, for themselves?
So I don't know, like if I can, advise effectively, to an young entrepreneur or the next upcoming innovators that can transform their life more into something more successful life or startup journey. But over the period of time, I've understood few couple of patterns. Like if you are able to put more time and efforts to it over the period, like consistently doing it will actually yield more results, and the probability of you becoming successful will be more high than being in any very unconventional path. And you have to be very naturally curious about something. It's like I want to do this thing today, and I want to change this, and I want to do something else tomorrow. This doesn't work out, right? Like you have to be naturally curious, and you have to be stick to that particular thing for a very long time. And this has been proven in our case, and also has been proven in many business case studies out there. And over the time business learning, technology, even finding team, people, this can be done. The one thing that gets more harder is putting your efforts consistently, and this pure perseverance is really hard to maintain that over the period of time, right? Somebody does an venture for almost 6 months, and now he's shutting down that venture because he's not interested in it anymore, right? Choosing the wrong thing will obviously end up becoming in wrong decisions. So I personally think that maybe choosing your own curiosity, or choosing your personal experiences from the college would be much better. And if you want to explore something, do it from the college itself, and that's how you can right, college is the right way of right time to build your startups or in any ventures, anything that you want to experiment on. So yeah, I think that is something that I leave to everyone, or that I share to everyone to focus on. The only thing is, if you are bloody good at something, just do it, and don't be idiot enough to think that you are the right always. I think that is something that we can take on from this.
Thank you for your time, Bhanu. It was great having you here.
Thank you so much.